Tommy Lee Jones truly hated him more than anyone. Guess who? Hollywood friendships, feuds, and fallings out have captivated audiences for generations. But few Hollywood relationships have been marked by such instant, intense, and unmitigated dislike as the one between Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey on the set of 1995's Batman Forever. It wasn't just professional disagreement. It wasn't creative differences that could be worked through. It was pure, undiluted contempt. A visceral reaction so strong that nearly 3 decades later, the story still follows both men, a permanent footnote in their otherwise stellar careers. I've been on a lot of difficult sets with clashing personalities, revealed a crew member who worked on Batman Forever and requested anonymity. But I've never seen anything like the hatred Tommy Lee Jones had for Jim Carrey. It wasn't just dislike. It was as if Jim's very existence offended him on a cellular level. What makes this Hollywood hatred so fascinating isn't just its intensity, but its one-sided nature. Carrey, by all accounts, began the production admiring Jones and hoping to form a bond with the Oscar winner. Instead, he encountered a wall of hostility so impenetrable that it culminated in one of the most awkward and brutal face-to-face encounters ever reported between two A-list stars. The restaurant confrontation, where Jones reportedly told Carrey to his face, "I hate you. I really don't like you. I cannot sanction your buffoonery," has become legendary in Hollywood circles. A moment of raw honesty, rarely captured in an industry built on fake smiles and diplomatic non-answers. But what really happened between these two stars? What could Carrey possibly have done to inspire such loathing from the normally professional Jones? And why, after all these years, has this particular Hollywood hatred endured while so many other celebrity feuds have faded from memory? Today, we're exploring the truth behind Tommy Lee Jones's extraordinary dislike of Jim Carrey. A story that reveals as much about two contrasting approaches to acting as it does about the clash of personalities that created one of Hollywood's most infamous and enduring rivalries. The animosity between Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey represents more than just a personal dislike. It symbolizes a fundamental clash between two radically different approaches to acting and stardom. Jones, with his study intensity and classical training, embodied the serious craftsman approach to performance, while Carrey represented a more spontaneous and artistic energy that was transforming comedy in the 1990s when these opposing forces collided on the set of a big-budget superhero film. The result was a perfect storm of mutual incomprehension and one-sided contempt that would become the stuff of Hollywood legend. What makes this particular clash so revealing is how it illuminates not just personal differences, but deeper divides in acting philosophies, generational approaches to fame, and the sometimes impossible task of reconciling serious artistic ambition with commercial entertainment. As we explore what really happened between these two stars, we're actually examining a fundamental tension that runs through the entire entertainment industry. The uneasy relationship between artistic credibility and popular appeal that continues to define Hollywood to this day. Everywhere I go, people talk about the beard. They go, "What are you doing? Why are you growing a beard? Why are you growing a beard?" It's like clashing styles. They were co-stars, but not equals. When casting for 1995's Batman Forever was announced, it seemed like an inspired pairing of talent. Tommy Lee Jones would bring gravitas and intensity to the role of Two-Face, while Jim Carrey would inject his manic energy into the Riddler. On paper, the contrast between their styles will create perfect counterpoint. Two different kinds of menace for Val Kilmer's Batman to confront. Reality proved far less harmonious. From the first day on set, it became apparent that Jones and Carrey weren't just different actors with different styles. They were representatives of fundamentally opposed approaches to the craft that made genuine collaboration nearly impossible. Tommy wanted gravitas. Carrey gave him cartoon chaos, explained the production assistant who witnessed their interactions throughout filming. It was like watching a classically trained violinist forced to jam with a punk rock guitarist. They weren't just playing different instruments. They were playing different music entirely. The timing of their pairing couldn't have created a more perfect storm of contrast. Jones was fresh from winning an Academy Award for The Fugitive, confirming his status as one of Hollywood's most respected serious actors after decades of acclaimed work. Carey, meanwhile, had just experienced a meteoric rise to become the biggest comedy star in the world after the back-to-back successes of Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber all released within a single year. Their career trajectories couldn't have been more different. Jones had methodically built his reputation through years of character work and serious dramatic roles, gradually earning industry respect and critical acclaim. Carey had exploded into superstardom almost overnight, bringing a manic, rubber-faced comedic style that was revolutionizing screen comedy, but raising eyebrows among more traditional actors. They represented different generations, different approaches, and different definitions of success. Noted entertainment journalist Rebecca Santos, who covered Batman Forever during his production. Jones came up in an era where serious acting meant restraint, technique, and emotional truth. Carey represented something new. Comedy as physical expression taken to almost surreal extremes. These differences manifested immediately in their working methods. Jones approached Two-Face with meticulous attention to psychological motivation and character detail, while Carey treated the Riddler as a playground for his improvisational talents, constantly inventing new bits, movements, and line readings. According to multiple set sources, Jones found Carr's approach not just different, but actively disrespectful to the craft he had spent decades mastering. He reportedly viewed Carr's constant improvisation and physical comedy as lacking discipline and undermining the integrity of the production. You could see Tommy's jaw tighten every time Jim went off script or added some wild physical flourish, recalled a camera operator who worked on their scenes. For Tommy, acting was about serving the story through careful choices. Jim's approach was more like controlled chaos, throwing everything at the wall to see what might stick. Their scenes together were incredibly tense because these philosophies are fundamentally incompatible. Adding to the tension was the shifting commercial landscape their pairing represented. While Jones was the more decorated actor with an Oscar to his name, Carey was commanding an unprecedented $20 million per film after his breakout year, making him the higher-paid performer despite his relative newcomer status in Hollywood. There was definitely an awareness that the industry was changing, noted Santos. Jones had put in decades of serious work to reach the top of his profession, only to find himself sharing a set with someone who became a bigger commercial draw almost overnight with what Tommy viewed as silly faces and bathroom humor. That's a tough pill to swallow for someone from his generation and background. Director Joel Schumacher found himself in the unenviable position of trying to bridge this divide, but according to crew members, his efforts to create harmony between his villains were largely unsuccessful. The director reportedly took both actors aside separately multiple times during production, trying to establish a working relationship that could at least function professionally, if not warmly. Joel kept trying to frame their differences as complementary rather than conflicting, said the production assistant. He'd tell Tommy that Jim's unpredictability would make their scenes more dynamic, and he'd encourage Jim to find moments of stillness that might better mesh with Tommy's style. But it was like trying to mix oil in water. The elements simply refused to combine. The result was a strange on-screen dynamic where Jones and Carey, despite playing villains who supposedly collaborate, appear to exist in almost entirely separate films. Film critics at the time noted the odd disconnection between their performances with Roger Ebert, writing that Jones and Carey never seemed to establish any genuine relationship despite their characters' alliance. They seemed to be acting in different movies that happened to be spliced together. This disconnection wasn't accidental. It was the visible result of a fundamental incompatibility that would soon explode from professional tension into personal animosity in a way that would become Hollywood legend. I don't care whether you think you're innocent or not. I don't care if you say you're innocent or not. That's verbal ambush. the restaurant incident that ended it all. The most infamous moment in the Jones-Carey feud. The confrontation that would cement their discord in Hollywood history occurred not on set, but in a restaurant during production of Batman Forever. As Carey himself has recounted numerous times over the years, this encounter transformed what might have remained professional tension into something far more personal and enduring. According to Carr's account, he spotted Jones dining at a popular restaurant where many of the cast and crew would eat during the film's production. Hoping to break the ice and perhaps establish a warmer working relationship, Carrey approached Jones's table to say hello. What happened next has become one of Hall,